Hello and welcome back. In the next two videos, I'm going to share with you the step-by-step process that I took and still take every single day that helped change my life. As I mentioned in the previous episode, this process had to be simple, not require too much effort, and it needed to fit into my lifestyle so I could maintain it and make it a part of my life. I also mentioned in the previous video that I am recording this series in a beautiful place in Australia called the Sunshine Coast. And I just wanted to share this photo with you to show you my backyard for the next few days and to show you the beautiful coastline that we have here in Australia. And maybe if we're lucky, we may hear some of our beautiful birds singing in the background. So without any further ado, let's get on to the process of what I did that helped turn my life around. So the first thing that I did was I started to become in tune and pay attention to my body. Our bodies are an amazing vehicle. They're there to communicate to us when things aren't right. The problem is we're so busy being busy, or we have some sort of discomfort or pain that we just tend to accept and live with. And that for me was the biggest thing that I found changed in my life. I thought it was normal to have a meal and just feel bloated. And I thought it was normal to have headaches and migraines. Until I found the day that I could eat a meal and not be bloated, until my headaches and my migraines disappeared. I'm telling you, this is not something that I took lightly, because the proof was in the pudding for me. And I knew that paying attention to my body and listening to what it was saying and acting according to what it was telling me made the biggest difference. And it is the most vital step in moving forward. So starting to pay attention, and the way that I did it for me, especially because my path that I was walking on was I needed to feel good. And I know for me, I needed to lose the weight that I'd put on, because that would then snowball into all areas of my life. And the way that I did that was to keep a food diary. So everything that I ate, I would record. And then I would see if I would have any sensation or if my body would react to it in any way. And if that was the case, and I would eliminate things out of what I ate and saw how I went for about a week, and then put it back into my diet to see if that feeling or that sensation came back. And I give the example of the avocado because, look, I am and was the biggest diet queen ever. I did every single diet imaginable to man, and although I got some good results from some of them, they were never long lasting, or I could never sustain them long enough. And after a period of months, I would just go back to where I was. So I knew that the food that I was eating, I needed to create my own diet plan or my own eating plan. And the avocado is a beautiful food. It has great fatty acids and it is essential, but it just didn't work for my body. Every time I ate an avocado, I would get a furry taste in my mouth. And so that was my body telling me that there was something that wasn't right with what I was eating. Because if I was getting the warnings at the beginning, how was I digesting it when it actually entered into my system? Was I digesting it properly? Were remnants of it left in my stomach that then created problems? I mean, it's meant to be a good fatty acid, right? And it's meant to be good for us to eat. But what was happening in my body? So I chose to ignore the beliefs around food that I had read about and that I was told about. And I chose to create my own based on what was happening for me. So keeping a food diary and documenting everything that you eat is essential. And if you find a sensation happens, and it might be a furry taste in your mouth, it might be bloating, it might be stomach cramps, it might be a headache, just trust what your body's telling you and start to eliminate little things at a time and start to create your own eating plan of what works for you. And it's not a big effort, and it makes the biggest difference in your life when you can eat the foods that your body digests for you. So the second thing that I did is I'd wake up early. Now, I'm one of the lucky ones and I am a morning person, so waking up was not an issue. But there are the few that love to have the alarm go off and then they just press the snooze button and then they just sleep for another 10 or 20 minutes. And sometimes some people even press the snooze button 2 or 3 times. Well, here's the thing. Once you wake up, that's it, you're up. There is no snoozing. All that you do is you send mixed messages to your body. You're telling your body, yep, it's time to wake up. And then the next minute you're going, well, no, I really need to have a bit more sleep. Now, interestingly enough, if you watch the process of your day, and if you're one of these people that loves to wake up then snooze and then get up later on, just see how your pattern in the day is. Do you find that you get sort of energized and then you feel flat, like you could easily have a 10 or 15 minute nana nap? So that's why we encourage, and I encourage you to get up the moment that you open your eyes and you're awake. No snoozing. The second thing that I did was I would drink a glass or 2 of beautiful fresh water. Now, I could never really manage 2 glasses in the morning, and so I'm not punishing myself for that. You just do what you can for yourself, but 1 glass was quite easy for me to do. And I say good water because our tap water today is infiltrated by lots of things like fluorides and other little bits and pieces that aren't so good for our system. So there's no point in putting good food in our mouth and being able to process that and then adding stuff in our mouth that isn't actually working for our bodies at all. So clean water is essential, and I just buy either the bottled water or we get some spring water from down the coast, and it makes a big difference to the taste. And once you've been on that for, like I have now, over 12 months, and I go to have a glass of water, that water tastes like chlorine. It's horrible. So beautiful clean water in the morning. The next thing that I do, and this is the fun part, is bounce or jump for about 2 to 3 minutes every morning. Now, there is a reason for this madness. First, it's quite fun and you sort of feel quite young again. But secondly, it starts to wake our body up. It gets the lymphatic system working, and it also starts to move the toxins in our body so that we can actually pass them throughout the day. Ideally, if you have a little trampoline, you can bounce up and down, and a little bit longer would be awesome, for about 2 to 3 minutes, or you can bounce on the bed and really feel like you're back in your childhood. Problem is, if you've got someone sleeping next to you, probably not going to be such a good idea. Or you can just get onto the ground or in the dirt and just bounce or pulse for 2 to 3 minutes. Just get that body moving and get it working. The next thing on the list of this routine is what I call relaxation time. Now, some might like to call it meditation, some might like to call it time out. Just call it whatever works for you. But a minimum of 10 minutes once you've bounced up and down for a little while is just perfect to keep the routine working. So because I'm easily distracted, I just get headphones and I put in some really relaxing music, and I allow myself just to go wherever I need to go for those 10 to 20 minutes. Now, if you can do a bit longer, if you have the time and you can go 20 or 30 minutes or even 1 hour, well, amazing. But 10 minutes seems to be the most minimum that gets our neurology in our brain working. So it just allows us not to have anything happen in our heads. We just allow ourselves to be. And at the end of my relaxation time or meditation time, I always set an intention for the day. And that intention might be something as simple as to get through the day, just to laugh and be happy. So a little intention at the end of that time, again, puts it out there for your day to become amazing. The next step on my little process, and the last step of the first half of this video, is to have a healthy smooth or a healthy shake. Now, this is not in lieu of breakfast. It does not replace breakfast. The reason I have my healthy smoothie every morning is to just give me the natural energy and the vitality to get my day going. I don't choose and I don't take vitamin supplements. I choose to have all my vitamins and minerals in these healthy smoothies that I have. So again, it's not a substitute for breakfast because breakfast is an important part of the day, but it's just to give the kickstart, that vitality to get the morning going. And you know what, ladies? There's the first half of the routine. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that there's nothing that's too difficult in that whole process. We haven't even left home. So if there are things in there that you would like to try, you may want to try the whole lot or you may just want to adapt a few things. Please do. But remember, work out the path that is right for you. Work out the steps that you need to take and then make that plan to create something that will be easy, sustainable, and that you can maintain for the rest of your life. And once you've done it for about 28 days, it becomes habitual. It's like getting up and brushing your teeth. Your day will just feel really weird if you don't do it. So that's the first part. On the second part of the video, or the next video, I'm going to take you through the rest of the routine. And I really hope you've enjoyed that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you on video number 3. And until then, lots of love and blessings. Bye for now.